A trillion years of death. That is what awaits us. That's what awaits all of humanity, in my personal opinion, and our accessors. The accessors to the species Homo sapien. I think that even beyond our species, those that will come after us, I think that they'll have to endure violence and conflict and brutality. And I think that even if we advanced so much technologically to the point to where we conquered entire galaxies, that we span across thousands of light years of space, millions of light years of space, in the next million years, billion years, trillion years. I still think that because of the fundamental nature of existence, not just biological forms, but the fundamental laws of nature themselves will impede. They'll impose their brutality on life, or whatever we may become that might be even beyond life itself, in the next trillion years. I do think that at some point we will ascend, truly ascend beyond our, maybe not physical form, but beyond our instinctual form, beyond our biological form or hybrid form. We may end up becoming partly abiotic, partly biological at some point. This is all speculation, but the point here is that, as morbid, as severe as it sounds, I don't think that we're going to reach any point of permanent peace for the next few hundred billion years at bare minimum. And even a trillion years from now, I still feel that that's unlikely. And even if humanity, even if we absolve, is that the right word? Absolve our instincts, our emotions. We rid ourselves of our deepest neurological programming. I still think that we might end up overriding our future neurological hardware. That's the easiest way I can explain it. Hopefully that makes sense. And it's like an AI. It's like one of those new AIs that takes a bunch of images or videos and puts them together to create something. I think that even if we lack the neurological software to have emotions or to have instincts that make us like fear, if we're like at a high place, or make us angry if we're attacked. I think that even if we go beyond these fundamental instincts, these fundamental neurological things, I think that we could still at some point redevelop some sort of hardware, redevelop some sort of software in our neurology that makes us violent and makes us capable of suffering again. And even if that's not the case, I still feel that in the future we'll suffer a lot as we expand, move beyond Earth, move beyond our solar system, our galaxy, move to different superstructures that are beyond what we can see, because there are some things that we literally can't see that are out there, huge structures that are made up of galaxies, like how atoms make up stars, but if you're the size of an atom, you couldn't see the star. It's beyond your scale. It's beyond your ability to view it, because it's so big. And I think even if we move to these larger structures, and humanity completely changes its neurological programming, and we we no longer have any sort of conflicts with one another. We'll still have to endure the cruel nature of of nature itself, the environment. You know, the coldness of space and the violence of stars erupting and gravity. Uh, ripping things apart and perhaps other things far out in space that we might not understand, and other life forms that might be out there that we might encounter that are far more primitive than we are. And I mean, there's so many possibilities, an endless number of possibilities, for things that will cause us to suffer, to suffer nearly endlessly. And I think that even if we reach a point to where we have, things beyond quantum supremacy computers, and we have, we've constructed, billions of Dyson spheres and even larger structures, and we have an infinite food supply, and we can control the very environment of millions and billions of light years around us. I think even then we'll still encounter something. We might create something that might be monstrous in its nature, something unpredictable, something truly unforeseen, like how like how life has come about from mud, if you are spiritual, or it came about from different molecules forming in some sort of ancient liquid when the earth was volcanic and hot. I mean, whatever you believe, we came from non-organic material. I'm very certain of that. And so, with how strange we are, with how strange life is compared to all the abiotic material around us, I think it is likely that at some point in the extremely far future, we might create things that go beyond anything that we've ever seen or imagined throughout history. And I mean, who knows what that could be? What if we create some sort of technology that taps into 10 dimensions, and we open hell, or what we would see as hell, and then we're stuck there forever. Who knows what we could create? Who knows what mistakes we could make in the future that will cause unending violence and suffering? And what if 1 trillion years in the future, a black hole comes around, some supermassive black hole, and it rips everything apart, and those that survive are thrown back into the Stone Age, and we literally, physically, molecularly devolve into violent, murderous, rapist animals again. And it's not like we're not like that still, even after perhaps 7,000 years, if you're biblical, if you're religious, 7,000, 100,000 years, a million years after our creation, Homo sapiens arrival. We're still extremely violent and chaotic, as individuals, and even in systems. Sometimes we're even worse. And who's to say that there might not be another 1,000 holocausts before there's never one again? Who's to say that there won't be 100, a couple hundred more world wars until there are no more? And I'm talking like true world wars, like the entire planet. Not just small little continents or regions here or there going to war. And the what makes things even darker, and what makes this video the most depressing, probably the most awful of all my videos, despite how tragic and disturbing many of my other videos are, even without our instincts and our emotions, without that, what do you experience? You experience this sort of strange melancholy, depression, sort of strange numbness from what I've observed. There was a man who was hit in the head by a particle accelerator beam, and I believe it completely wiped away his emotions, if I'm correct. And it makes me think, if we don't have emotions or instincts, how would we behave? Would not feeling any emotions, no fear, no anger, no sadness, no happiness, um, and not having any instincts either. What would it lead us to? What would we become? Would there be any point to anything? Would we just kill ourselves, just mass suicide if we lost all that, like the deeper inner functions of the mind, I don't think can properly function without emotions, without instincts. And I think without these things, we would just shut down. And with these things, we would just endlessly suffer. So it's like we either have to ascend beyond, uh, you know, having any sort of neurology at all, having any sort of brain, to put it simply, or we would just have to die in order to avoid suffering and violence and the fear and the anger and the disgust. And so it kind of puts us in a box. It kind of puts us in a hole of pretty much pure darkness and hopelessness almost. Because what are we supposed to do without our emotions or instincts? What are we supposed to do with them? For the next few million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion, septillion, sextillion, nonillion, decillion, undecillion, duodecillion, tridecillion, quadradecillion, googolplex, infinity years. What hope is there with suffering and going on for that long? And especially when humanity reaches population in the number of googolplexes, when we've scattered across all occupiable space in the known universe. I mean, with such a massive population, having instinct and emotion, the suffering and the violence would be unimaginable, even if it's like 0.00000001% of the entire human population. Still in a future where there's a near infinite number of humans, I mean that's a near infinite amount of suffering and violence that can come out of that, or struggle from the fighting for survival against the chaotic environment of the universe. And so I think that I think it's better simply not to exist at all. And this deep thinking, my deep studying of science and technology, and even going so far to try to understand how far we could go with our technology, going so far to the point to where I'm studying the sacred geometry and studying religion and studying the effects of psychedelics and different brain experiments, going so far to study almost every aspect of abstract thinking and abstract experience that I can possibly understand. I mean, I've gone this far. I spent the last almost decade now going so far to try to understand it, to try to understand how we could avoid a dark future, a dark fate. It's led me to the pretty much final conclusion that the only way out is death. And I mean, pretty much, you see it in the Bible. It requires the rapture to avoid the judgment of God, to avoid the abusive, psychotic, despicable nature of the Antichrist, the Christians have to be raptured, taken up, and and the whole thing to do with Buddhism and inner peace and meditation, reaching a higher state of consciousness to avoid violence and suffering. I mean, everything that I've studied has led me to the final conclusion that death or ascension is the only escape. And because we're so technologically underdeveloped, that we're not even a Kardashev scale 1 civilization. There's no chance of ascension, unless God itself comes to us, and or some extremely advanced civilization from far in space. But I sometimes I question if there's even any life out there in the universe at all. It seems kind of unlikely. We're so strange. Once you really study quantum mechanics and its involvement in life, you might start to think that we're truly the only life in existence. Because of the likely odds of life occurring being nearly 1 in infinity. So, with that being said, my final conclusion is that we have to destroy ourselves. We have to completely obliterate, self-suicide the entire human race, and all life on this world, to prevent said life from evolving to a higher level and becoming conscious, sentient, thinking beings like us with higher intelligence. Because there's an increase in violence with an increase in intelligence. The two go together. There's an increase in consciousness with an increase in microtubules slash increase in neurons, and slash increase in electrical activity. There's many things that come together to create consciousness, not just one small thing. But as far as I'm aware, basically we have to destroy ourselves now. We all have to die, all 8 billion people, every plant, every animal, every insect, every bacteria, every fungi, every virus, every living thing, down to the nanoscopic scale, has to be completely incinerated. All Googleplex life forms on the entire planet have to die, in order to prevent future suffering. And that's the conclusion that I've come to. And some might see that as the deepest level, the most the highest level of nihilism, the highest level of antinatalism that one can possibly come to. And I'd say that, yeah, perhaps I have. I've reached the darkest, the highest level of nihilism that a human can possibly reach. I've ascended beyond all of humanity in terms of nihilism. I've reached a near God level of nihilism, and I don't mean to be prideful, but I mean that's just kind of true. I think I've reached the limit of nihilism, and it sucks, but I think that my belief is the truth. I think it's reality. Despite all our technology, despite all we've accomplished, less than 80 years ago, the Holocaust occurred, and that's just one small example of many even worse, more tragic things that have occurred more recently than even the Holocaust, and it just doesn't stop. It doesn't end. There's no way out. Humans and their cultures, humans and their religions, humans and their societies, humans and their governments, their control systems are not enough. They are not enough. None of it is enough to stop the violence, to stop the war. And it's led me to go even further beyond nihilism, to an even deeper place of complex understanding, and that is God. I've become religious because of this depth of I guess you could say, insanity that I've gone to. The things I've seen, the things I've heard, are far more dark and disturbing than likely anything almost anyone else has ever heard or seen. My experiences in real life are likely nowhere nearly as bad as many other people's experiences, but nonetheless, they have, some of these experiences have been quite destructive to my moral viewpoint of my empathetic viewpoint of humanity and of existence. And so I become religious, but I don't really see myself as religious. I see myself as a believer in truth. You know, the way I see it, people that believe in religion believe in something fake, but I personally believe that with me being Christian, I believe that my religion is truth. So I see it as beyond religion. It is truth. It is reality. And I think that's the only other way, you know, ascension, being taken up, being placed in heaven, a dimension beyond even anything we can get to. Because basically the Bible, you know, from what it says, heaven is beyond earth. It can't be reached in life. It's on a whole nother plane of existence. And so you know, my nihilism has it's gotten that bad to the point to where I become religious and Christian in particular, and I no longer see this world. I no longer see existence, consciousness, at least in this world, as bearable almost any longer. I feel that the complete eradication of the entire human population is the only route, the only good route left to take, basically, to prevent future suffering. And the reason why I'm sort of complacent with my life right now is because I do believe in an antichrist existing right now in the world, you know, somewhere out there in the world, preparing, you know, making way for his control and decimation of all religions other than his own. And you know, he wouldn't. See, some people would assume that the Antichrist will kill most of, like, 1/3 of humanity, but the Bible says it's God, actually. But this video, I'm not trying to get into spiritual stuff, biblical stuff too much, but you know, the only reason why I'm somewhat complacent with life at all is because I truly believe that there is an Antichrist out there, and he's making way for control, making way for his total control and oppression of humanity. But you know, I think I won't be here for that. You know, and if that doesn't occur anytime soon, then you know, my nihilism will probably reach even lower levels, even deeper, more upsetting levels, upsetting to other people. But I'm not really upset about my own nihilistic viewpoints. I think they're actually kind of good. And I wish more people had the same nihilistic viewpoints that I have. You know, coming to see humanity and in life, nature, for what it really is. And it comes down to survival and reproduction, and what it takes to survive and what it takes to reproduce. It's all dark. It's all negative. It's all suffering. It's all violence and rape and theft and manipulation and lies and corruption and death. And you know, so yeah, the next 1 trillion years will be filled with death and suffering, if you know, if what I believe about God to be wrong, you know. So yeah. Anyway, check out my other videos. I make all sorts of interesting videos on all sorts of subjects: technology, religion, politics, history, physics, art, chemistry, biology, psychology. What else? Geography as well, a little bit, I think. Yeah, and culture and societal things. I make all sorts of videos. I make videos on just about every topic you can possibly think of, and many that you've probably never even known about. So yeah, check out my other videos, like, comment, subscribe. I hope that I hope that my viewpoints have resonated with you, whether in a good way or a bad way. I hope they've resonated somehow, at least a little. And yeah, definitely comment on the video as well and tell me what you think about what I've said. Give me suggestions if you want me to make a video on a certain topic. It could be about watching paint dry. It could be about, you know, the intricacies of producing vanilla for ice cream. It could be about the fusion reactions in a star. It could be about the inner thinking of Klaus Schwab. It could be the politics on Kenya, between America. I mean, it could be anything. That's my point here. You know, I'm willing to make topics, videos on any topic, really. So if there's something you want to know about, something, new ideas, you want to dive into on a particular subject, let me know and I'll make a video on it. So yeah, that's all. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and check out my other videos. You have to check out my other videos. I make great content. I put a lot of time and effort into these videos, a lot of studying. So yeah.